In this video, I'll be turning these small, inexpensive thrift store items into one-of-a-kind home decor. So let's get started. This little ornate picture frame was only 60 cents at the thrift store. After removing the labels and cleaning it up, I took out the glass and I am going to give it several coats of Waverly chalk paint in the color Truffle. Once that's dry, I'm giving it a coat of Fusion liming wax. This white wax will seal the paint and lighten up the wood and also bring out all those beautiful details. Once I'm done waxing it, I use a microfiber cloth to remove all the excess wax and leave some of the wax down in the details so that helps accentuate them. Here I have an old piece of watercolor paper that I'm sizing using the back of the frame. I'm just going to trace around this and then cut it out. I have this old music book left over from my mixed media art days, and I'm going to be using a sheet of music as my background in this frame. And I found a song in here called The Little Spring Song, which I thought would be perfect for the floral I'm going to be putting on top of it. I want to try to get the title of the song into the frame without getting that black box in it as well. Now I'm going to use my paper cutter to give me some straight cuts. I'm misting my paper just a little bit so that the Elmer's glue will spread a little easier. I'm hoping I get the music sheet on straight, and then I'm using my brayer to press out all of the air bubbles. Now I'm just going to leave it with something heavy on it to dry completely. Now that it's dry, I'm just going to trim off the excess paper. And I'm dabbing on some white chalk paint that I can spread around with my scraper. I don't want to cover the paper completely, I just want to kind of mask a little bit of the music notes. I'm just going to be going back and forth with a few different colors until I get the coverage that I want and kind of the color mixture. So you can kind of see here that the music sheet is obscured and it's not the focal point of the background, it just kind of blends in with all the colors and makes it a little more interesting. This is the Blossom Breeze transfer set from Redesign with Prima, and I'm going to trim out one of these flowers to adhere to the front of my music sheet. I want to try to get the flower centered and also still have the song title show a little bit. So I remove the carrier sheet and place it down exactly where I want it, because once it's down, there's no moving it. I'm really taking my time rubbing this transfer down because I don't think my paint was completely dry and I didn't want to risk pulling up any of the paint or peeling up the paper. Once it's all stuck down, just take the plastic sheet and rub back over it just to make sure all the edges are completely adhered, and it's ready to go. Since this will be under glass, I chose not to seal the transfer in. This is always the fun part, reassembling it to see what it's going to look like. Let's take another look at the thrifted frame before, and here it is after. What a difference, right? Let me know what you think in the comments. This is a metal wall pocket that I picked up at the thrift store for $2.25. I removed all the labels and the remaining floral foam that was stuck to the inside. And then I washed it, and I noticed when I was drying it that my paper towel kept turning red. You can see the red undertones on the inside. Because of that, I thought there might be some bleed through when I painted it, and in hindsight, I should have shellacked it before I painted it, but I thought I'd give it a try. I'm painting this with Fusion Chateau. So far the painting's going pretty well, but then when I started on the inside, I noticed that my brush was starting to turn a little pink. That's why I'm wiping it on the paper towel. Now that it's dry, you can really see all that red bleed through. So I took this outside and I sprayed it with one good coat of Zinsser spray shellac, and then I continued on with a second coat of paint. Still more bleed through, so it's outside for another coat of shellac. Since I'm painting these items for my own personal use in my home, I did not do the back. If I was reselling this, I would most definitely have painted the back. I'm finishing up the third coat of paint here, and there was a little bit of bleed through, but not enough that I needed to go back and spray and do a fourth coat. You can see a little bit of the bleed through here, mostly on the inside, a tiny bit on the edges, but we're going to go with it. I debated on whether I wanted to dry brush over the details or use wax, and dry brushing would stick to the raised parts, but wax tends to stick to the crevices, so I decided to go with Fusion liming wax instead. Fusion paint has a built-in top coat, so there's no need to wax when using those paints, but I like the look of the liming wax, so that's why I decided to wax it. I wasn't sure what I wanted to actually put into the wall pocket, so I did a little Google searching, and here is my inspiration for what I purchased. The floral foam came from Dollar Tree, and the greenery and hydrangeas came from Amazon. I'll include a link in the description for the Amazon products. I was really happy with the cost and the way they looked. The flowers came in a package of 10, and I only needed to use 4 here, and I just trimmed them down to size with my wire cutters. The leaves on these branches were a little closed up, kind of smushed together, so I decided to get out my clothes steamer and give that a try. The stem on the left I've already steamed, and the one on the right I haven't, and you can kind of see the difference between the two. Definitely helps. Sorry most of this is out of frame. I had to hold it up so that I could see it upright to see where the stems needed to go. The stems came in a package of 3, and I believe I only used 2 of them. So here is the thrifted wall pocket in its original state, and here it is now. I really love how it came out. I always say that, don't I? Because I really do. And here it is in place in my bathroom. I found this little ceramic pear at the thrift store for $1.50, and I love this color. This is one of my favorite colors, but it's just a little too bright for me at the moment, so I am going to change it up a little bit. I am going to remove all of the many labels that it has and give it a good washing. Because it had such a shiny surface, I took it outside and gave it a light spray of Rust-Oleum matte white primer. I am using a not so perfect chip brush, and I'm going to be painting in a stippling motion, or pouncing, however you want to say it, to avoid any brush strokes. And now I'm going to give it 2 coats of Waverly chalk paint in the color Celery. After 2 coats of paint, I'm going to seal it in with Fusion liming wax. This was a really quick and easy makeover project, and it makes a cute little shelf sitter. So here is the pair before, and here it is after. It's a subtle change, but I like it much better. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.